Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today I was going to make a joke about winter in June until I remembered that for the southern half of the world, winter does in fact start in June. And so, rebuked by my own ignorance, I sit down to watch Mihai playing as the Tatars in green take on Modri playing as the Incas in red. Now while the players heard their herdables explore their immediate enclosed off surroundings because we are on arena today, and try to get their butts up to feudal, probably castle, as soon as possible. A good opportunity for us to take a look at the civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now, the Tatars are a civilization that does whatever it possibly can to push you towards mounted units. Their cav archers come with extra line of sight. They get Parthian tactics and thumb ring for free. Some of their mounted units can be upgraded to get extra armor, and both of their unique units are in fact mounted. The first is the Flaming Camel, which is basically a mounted petard, except it comes with a massive attack bonus against cavalry, camels, and elephants, so not exactly a unit I'm expecting to see against the Incas. And their second is the Keshik, a medium cavalry unit that actually generates gold every time it pokes and prods an enemy unit, which can come in very useful in the late game as gold becomes more scarce and raids become more frequent. Now, once your army is out on the field of battle, very important for the Tatars to take the high ground, because instead of the usual 25% extra damage that you do when you're fighting downhill, the Tatars actually do 50% extra damage, which is a little bit unfortunate on a map like Arena, because one thing you'll notice there is a lack of is high ground. Now, high ground, or even just any kind of ground, becomes more important once trebs come out, because the Tatars can in fact upgrade their trebs to get extra range, with a fully upgraded Tatar treb coming with a massive 19 range. Now, in order to help you feed your warriors and the beasts that they ride, Tatar herdables do contain 50% more food, and starting in Castle Age, every time you build a new town center, you get 2 free sheep, which basically means 300 extra food for the taking with every new town center. Now, pivoting to the north, we've got the Red Town Center, the Incan Town Center, played by Modri, the quintessential counter civilization. To counter cavalry, the Incas can rely on their unique unit, the Kamayuk. This is a ranged infantry unit that carries a very long spear and comes with a massive attack bonus against cavalry units, which might be a little problematic for our Tatar, as it looks like Modri is now exploring and finding out where his opponent is. Is your opponent going to go infantry? Well, you can counter them with your other unique unit, the Slinger. This is an archer unit that comes with a big attack bonus against infantry, which can be upgraded to get a small +1 attack boost. And lastly, if your opponent goes archers, well, you can rely on your skirmishers, which not only get all archery range, blacksmith, and university upgrades, but can be upgraded to have no minimum range whatsoever, which does remove one of their biggest weaknesses. Now, to make your Incan army last longer on the battlefield, no, you do not distribute Viagra to your soldiers. Instead, what you do is research a tech called Fabric Shields, which gives extra melee and pierce armor to your Kamayuks, your Slingers, and your Eagle Warriors. And lastly, for the Incas, to build up their military-industrial complex, get that army out and pumping on the map, their military units cost less and less food as the game goes on. 10% less food in the Dark Age, 25% less food in Imperial. You do start the game, if you saw, with a free llama, which doesn't sound like much, but is 100 extra food for free. Their buildings cost 15% less stone. Their houses support 10 population space instead of the usual 5, which does free up a little bit of wood in the early game for perhaps some archer play. And their villagers are harder to raid because starting in castle, they do benefit from infantry blacksmith upgrades and BT dubs. The Incas get all infantry blacksmith upgrades. So those are the two civilizations we've got before us, both of them expanding their wood lines, both of them at 18 villagers a pop. It looks like our Tatar already heading up to the next age. And Modri continuing to add in villagers. We'll see whether or not he cancels some of these, but at this point he's ahead 1 villager, about to be ahead 2 villagers. We'll see how far he gets this wild boar and whether he force drops some food. It looks like he just did. Okay, so continuing his villager production, let's take a look at where the resources are located, because on a map like Arena, very important to see where your internals are, to see how close they are. For example, like this pile of gold is to the gate or to the wall, because the closer they are, the easier they are to lame. So his primary gold for our Tatar, a little bit exposed. He's already moving out on the map. 45 seconds away from feudal. We know what that means. Where is the stone? Stone is nice and secure to the back, as is the secondary gold. So, by the way, Modri sees all of this with his Eagle Scout. Fantastic locating of the push out, and quite fortuitous. It's a pretty big map for his scout to be placed exactly here next to these villagers. A little bit of luck, a little bit of skill, a little bit of timing, a little bit of everything. Yuckity yuck. Primary stone for our Inca is very exposed here to the front, but additional gold and primary gold are nice and safe to the back. Archery range is the name of the game for the Tatar. I thought he was going to go with a tower push, but maybe he still will. Not uncommon to see a tower push followed up with some archers to place inside of the tower. Even though you do come forward with villagers that do add extra arrows, archers are always the preferred method, because they can in fact lame villagers who are attempting to, for example, stop this tower push. He attacks the wall. Modri notices, immediately places down 2 houses, 4 houses, 5 houses. Remember, for the Incas, this is 50 population space, not 25. And so we'll see how well this wall off, not exactly a complete wall off. There is still a little bit of room over here to the right. There is still a little bit of room to the left. But for now, Modri seems a little bit safe. He is heading up to the next age, but he's going to go with a fast castle timing, predicting perhaps that his opponent is going to tower rush him. And so off the back of 23 villagers, he's already got half the food, half the gold needed to go up to the next age. Mihai is making an issue of it. He says, okay, I see your little construction project. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to move down a couple of tiles, and I'm going to attack the wall over here. The tower surprisingly not attacking the wall either, but for now it's focusing on the... Well, not surprisingly focusing on the villagers. A second ago it was focusing on the houses, which is what I was surprised about. Immediately cast Feudal, immediately walling off this area. So Modri using the primary stone to wall off this little quadrant of his map, and behind the palisade he says, forget it, I don't have time to right click a little bit, right click a little bit, right click a little bit here. I'm just going to put down a market. It's one of the 2 structures I need to go up to the next stage, so it doesn't really hurt me to put it in here. Might even see another structure behind here on the right next to the palisade. What does our Tatar have here? 4 archers, 4 villagers, a scout, and now a blacksmith is being placed. I thought for sure he would place it over here, but no, he places it down here. I thought maybe a house or something over here. Doesn't really matter. Whatever the structure is, the name of the game right now for Modri, our Inca, whenever really anyone gets tower pushed on a map like Arena, the name of the game is plop down as much shit as possible, delay your opponent as much as possible, make sure he has to waste his time attacking structures for as long as possible while you gather the resources to go up to Castle Age so that you can push out with your own siege and more powerful units. The very nature of a tower push means that Mihai's economy is a little bit lamed at the moment, although he has busted in here 6 archers now. And when I say lamed, I mean it. 15% of his economic power is right here. These 4 villagers are not gathering any resources. He's not on any kind of stone either. And so he is pushing in. Let's see what he can get accomplished here for now. He's focusing in on this blacksmith, probably for the best. It does have the lowest amount of HP of any structure in his way. Unfortunately, there's going to be a barracks here and another blacksmith behind the blacksmith, and then stone walls on the left. So Modri's defended quite well, and he's on his way to Castle Age off of the exact same villager count as his opponent. Although remember, when you're on the exact same villager count, you are a little bit better off unless your villagers, 5 of them, are stuck here repairing and building secondary wall offs. Modri needs to get back to the economy game. He needs to put a few of these villagers back to work. Yeah, he is sending them back to work. So Mihai is kind of stuck in this little nook. Fantastic aggression out of him so far. Let's see how well he does. He's attacking the stone wall, or stone gate rather. Villagers, scout, archers, anything and everything that our Tatar can throw at this Incan settlement. 2 more archers come out. They do have fletching. Oh no. A house with 250 HP, a gate with 840 HP. Why is he targeting the gate? The house does have negative melee armor. Remember, in Dark Age and in Feudal Age, castles have negative melee armor, houses have negative melee armor, which makes them very easy to take down, especially by villagers. An eagle comes out, tries to delay this, but mission accomplished. Putting down as much stuff as possible to block your opponent has worked out well for Modri. Our Incan is in castle. He's getting his siege workshop. Mangonel, battering ram, scorpion. What will come out of this siege workshop? Get back to work. Maybe go after that ibex a little bit. For now, Modri, oh no, 26 HP, 5 HP. Ooh. Now, usually your opponent doesn't really bust into your base like this. Unfortunately for Mihai, he busts in right in time to see that siege workshop. And instead of turning around, going home, calling it a day, he is doubling down on the tower rush. Spends the last of his stone right as a mangonel is getting trained. Of course, it's a mangonel against all of these scorpions, against all of these archers. You don't look like a scorpion to me. You look like an archer unit. But Modri, wall off to the right, wall off to the left, has basically secured himself. And now, mangonel is out. First kills of the game starting to happen here for our Inca. Our Tatar did manage to get first blood here with that one Eagle Warrior. But for now, 3 kills to 1. Our Inca seems pretty damn safe. Mangonel moving around, positioning itself to the rear to perhaps defend against these archers. Not too sure why he wants to. Not sure what 8 Feudal Age archers can do here. But he's got 2 mangoes out. Mihai is leaving behind infrastructure. He says, you know what? I'm going to play the same game that you're playing. You're probably going to clear me out here. You're probably going to take care of my offensive push. And oh, take care of it. He does with a absolute pancake of a smush here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave a spotting house. And then you're going to have to take a little bit of time to destroy it, to delete it, because I know you're not going to leave it inside your base, this little spy house. And that extra time is going to give me time to reclaim my economy. Mihai is still ahead. Villagers. How many villagers are returning home? 4 of them are actually not returning home. They are heading down to the center of the map where he is placing down a stable and he's going after the stone as well. We'll see how much time our Inca gives him. For now, every single volley takes down a third, a quarter of the HP of this tower, which means in one more volley, bye tower. And now the archers have to get the hell out of here. Not too sure. You know, maybe crossbows, properly microed, can take on 3 mangonels. I'm not too sure that a couple of Feudal Age archers might want to finish your house project here. Oh, look at that. He walls himself. He uses the opportunity to close the wall off yet again. And all of a sudden, Mihai, despite all of the aggression, all of the resources spent, the units trained, the death and carnage and destruction, finds himself outside in the rain, outside in the snow from this town settlement. This Incan settlement. And here we go. Exactly what Mihai wanted to accomplish. Red is not pushing out. Red is, in fact, wasting a little bit of time focusing on that house as Mihai continues to circle, and he is 20 seconds away from Castle Age himself. Will he go crossbows? He's investing in scouts. So Arena, generally, if a game is played without any kind of shenanigans, like, for example, a tower push, generally follows 3 stages. The first stage, everyone goes up to Castle Age. Second stage, they fight over their relics. These gravity magic defying stuff. Relics, basically. A relic is a relic. How do you describe a relic, really? A magical object in Age of Empires. And then once all the relics are accounted for, all 5 are gathered, then stage 3 begins, where the players basically build big ol' armies, get up to Imperial, and then slam those armies against one another like a baby slamming 2 toys into one another. Archery range is going to get taken down. A bit of a sour loss there. Mihai is buying resources at the moment. Why? Because he's going 2nd and 3rd town center. So he's down 5 villagers, but in a few minutes, if he's left alone, he might be ahead villagers. And look at our Incan population space. He's got 64 population room because of the way their houses work. Mihai has 7. Does manage to get one of those monks as step lancers are out, and all of a sudden, fortune favors the long pointy stick as the army for the Inca looked like it was about to bite the dust right up until the mangonel showed up, squished a bunch of archers, and the spearmen got the cavalry units. But you are exposed. You're not a Korean mangonel with 1 minimum range, which means that step lancer is nice and safe. Will the monk die? He dies. Another fantastic snipe here for Mihai. So he is going to lose the center, probably. Who's kidding who? But he's not going to lose it for free. He is putting up a fight. And again, the longer he can delay Modri, the better it is for him. Usually when your opponent tower pushes you, if you defend, maybe 7 times out of 10, your opponent just GG's because they're so far behind. They've invested so many resources. They've lamed their own economy so much. Mihai is flipping the script here. He is saying, you know what? My tower push failed, But I'm just going to keep you here in the center while I go up to my 3 town centers. I'm now down, actually still the same 5 villagers down. Modri, though, adding his own 3rd town center as well. Spear taking on 2 light cav. Spear will die. And I am sure that Mihai is absolutely ecstatic to lead 5, previously 6 army supply into the middle of nowhere with only 1 of his units. Anytime you can basically lame your opponent's military that way, it is a fantastic get, as our Inca now protects the relic. Our Tatar, somehow behind all this, has managed to get a single relic himself. So Mihai is showing us that it's not necessarily a GG if your tower push doesn't succeed. He is in fact showing us the exact opposite, that you can thrive. He's still down the exact same 5 villagers though. And so Modri's army moving on the right side of the map, Mihai's army in the center and the left. He must have seen the relic, right? Yeah, he's seen the relic. He's going straight for it with no fewer than 3 monks, 3 step lancers. Mihai is buying so much wood on a map with 630,000 wood. He finds himself in the unenviable position of having to buy wood, but you know, it is what it is. What can you do? For now, he's down 7 villagers. He's down 3 army count. He's down 10 total population, but he's gathering the relics. He's going to have 3 relics to 1. Soon, 3 relics to 2, actually. So Tower Rush failed. Relic game 1. And we are about to enter stage 3 of the game. And despite the shenanigans of the tower push, this map is, this game, basically following the same 3-part meta that they almost always do. 4th relic accounted for. 5th relic is about to end stage 2 as an honor guard of monks moves in. And now Mihai is ahead 3 relics to 2. His infrastructure in the center is still up. Modri taking his time. Let's see what he's doing behind this. Gathering stone. He's at 130, so no real risk of a castle drop anytime soon. He's going for his rear secondary gold. Both players just continuing to go full-on economy. Their monk population isn't really growing. No more real necessity for that. Our Incan is not training any military units. He is getting wheelbarrow. Mihai already has handcart. As the step lancers shoo away the eagles. No, they're still scouts, so their attack bonus against cavalry +2 is very, very small. And as fast as this unit is, and it is in fact in the elite form, the fastest infantry unit in the game right now in early Castle Age, as it is just a scout, it moves very, very slowly compared to the man on the horse with a long pointed stick. And Mihai is not leaving. This is incredible. He is still here. I'm a little bit surprised that Modri, I guess he's rushing up to Imperial. Rushing with an asterisk. Rushing-ish to Imperial. Wolf gets activated. But takes the brunt end, or the sharp end of the stick, rather. Expanding to the rear with more farming communities. Alright. So this might give Mihai, who a second ago was housed at 90, an opportunity to catch up in villager count. Although he himself is going up to Imperial Age. So never mind that. Which town center? The rear town center. Which town center for you? Your main town center. Ooh, will he get away with it? Will he get away with it? Oh, he gets away with it. Finding an errant monk in the middle of nowhere. Why were you outside of the safety of your settlement? There are roving bands of Tatar units everywhere. And Mihai manages to get another snipe. Hilarious and fantastic for him. Our Inca is going pikeman, chainmail armor, and now also has handcart. So he's going to try to counter the mobility, the fast pace of the cavalry with perhaps some kind of Incan death ball. Many of you have commented on my Incan videos that it is a civilization that can hold a push, but has trouble pushing back out. Let's see if Modri can overcome your natural hesitation of the Incan push, your natural suspicion of it, let's say, as a 4th town center for our Tatar out on the map. But you know what else is out on the map? Finally, an Incan castle and another siege workshop, another barracks. How many is he going up to? 3 barracks. So a baby eagle spam, maybe a pike spam-ish, a baby one with 3 barracks. Mihai needs to get a bit more housing. He is not exactly the Incas here, and so he does complete it. Yeah, okay, he frees up 35 housing space. He's going up Okay, the bane of every Mesoamerican civilization is, of course, gunpowder. And the Tatars do, in fact, get hand cannoneers. And so in 19 seconds, where's his university? There it is. I'm expecting this structure to start pumping out chemistry. Looks like another Eagle Warrior bit the dust here. These Steppe Lancers just getting little pokes and prods and kills. But look at our Inca. He's going onager. There's chemistry, by the way, for our Tatar. Oh, the slow-moving monks. Clips them, does the mangonel. Perhaps another Eagle down? Another Eagle down. I'm surprised that Mihai is not really investing in any more cavalry of any kind. So now he's kind of giving up map control. Light cav up to the north. I was going to say scout, but you're not a scout. Oh my god. The Eagles. He's body blocking with an onager. With a mangonel. That was incredible. I was focused down here for a second. All of those monks got killed. Our Inca did, our Tatar rather, lost all of his monks, but that, whether inadvertently or not, that onager was body blocking the light cavalry unit, which is not something we see every day. And I think that villager managed to escape. Of course he did. Mihai has no villager kills whatsoever. And now he's got to push back. This is a time for Mihai. Okay, he's going up upgrades. Chemistry takes so long to research, but husbandry, scale barding armor, ring archer armor for his hand cannoneers probably. He's getting a castle of his own, but this is not a time to play defense for Mihai. This is a time to make sure that your opponent's offense is stalled as much as possible. Otherwise, your opponent, take a look at the mini-map, has already taken what looks like 2/3 of the central plain to the left. Not exactly resource-rich to the right. Stone, gold. And so not a lot of resources out on the map, but the ones that are neutral have been taken by our Incan quite handily. There's ballistics, there's bodkin. There's bloodlines and forging. So we're going to go some kind of melee cavalry and some kind of hand cannoneer. And he's going for the stone here as well. Our Incan sees it, sees the castle as it fires on him, but without ballistics yet, both of these units, weak as they are, do survive. If you're wondering how the hell does he have one pikeman or two pikemen and the rest are halberdiers, welcome to the game of conversions in Age of Empires. To lose a unit to a conversion, to get it back from a conversion. Another castle, eagles, fabric shields, the Viagra of the Incas, +1 melee, +2 pierce armor is going to get added to every Eagle Warrior, every Slinger, every Kamayuk. And for now, the only ones of those we're seeing are Eagle Warriors. But, like I said, the bane of the Meso Civs is that freaking man with the pantaloons and the hand cannon. Because he does come with a massive +10 attack bonus against infantry. What are you down here? You are Eagles, just exploring, making sure that there's no kind of side shenanigans out of your opponent. Siege engineers as well. Zarinka says, oh, you like 19 range on your Trebs? I'm going to give 17 range to mine. Okay. A random cav archer here being thrown into the mix. What will happen? Will the Eagle get him? I mean, of course the Eagle's going to get him, especially with fabric shields. Look at that pierce armor on the Eagle. When they're fully upgraded to elites, by the way, they become as bulletproof, let's say, arrow-proof as a Huskarl with 10 pierce armor. And there's heavy Steppe Lancers, otherwise known as elite Steppe Lancers. How many stables does he have? Where even is his stable? Sometimes I have so much difficulty with these structures. 6 of them are here. Let's see it. This is quite the brute force army out of our Inca. He's brought no fewer than 7 onagers, 5 trebuchets, and 14 hand cannoneers are just not going to cut it. Villagers come in probably to help repair this. Castle is down. Town center literally has 14 HP. Oh no. I don't think you needed 5 trebs and 7 onagers to get rid of 14 HP, but Modri is making a point. And that point is, you try to tower rush me, you some bitch, I'm gonna get you right back. As he moves forward. Outpost is gone. The vision for our Tatar is becoming very limited right now. He does in fact see the castle pressing into him, but he's got a good body of Steppe Lancers. He's going up to 27 elites. And they're going to be fully upgraded in a second. All the fixins, all the furnishings, and in a minute they're going to have blast furnace as well. But bodkin, crop rotation of all things for now. for our Inca, who is at 200 population. Look at the resource difference. Right as I say that, the elite Kameyuk upgrade is being researched. So we're going to have mounted Pokeboys versus dismounted Pokeboys in a second. Both of them ranged melee. And uh-oh, those 5 relics were in a very forward position. Mihai did not use the opportunity as Modri consolidated his power in the center, did not use the opportunity to ferry those relics into a rear position. Army counts are identical. Mihai is only down 10 villagers. Is he going to delete? Is he going to delete? No, yes, he does delete. Might as well delete the barracks as well. Oh no, but now he's going to use the stacking. Where the hell are the hand cannoneers going? Step Lancers go after the Onagers to the north. Step Lancers are taking on Halberdiers to the center. Hand Cannoneers are absolutely rickety wrecking these Halberdiers to the right. And the siege from our Incan has basically been reset. One last Onager. Will he get it? He does get it, but he loses almost all of his Step Lancers. He's at it in a camel as well. Not too sure what the hell a camel is going to do against Halberdiers, but it is what it is at this point. Mihai needs to throw everything he's got at his opponent, who is now out with the longest stick of all, the Kameyuk. By the way, what the hell happened here? Did he delete that to let his villagers out? And now the script, like I said, has been flipped. Although, unlike a usual game, Mihai is in a fantastic position. 131 villagers. He's mining the stone outside of his town center, which means soon he'll be able to have a castle. I say that right as I look up and see he's got 1,200 stone. So does have enough for a castle. Maybe Keshiks are a good idea right now as your gold starts running low. Remember, every time they poke and prod, they're not like the Viking berserkers or infantry with chieftains. They do not need to kill a unit. They just need to poke and prod a unit. Another Onager dies. By the way, we've got a Treb war. 5 Trebs taking on 2. 5 Trebs being repaired, taking on 2. And what an absolute beautiful, stunning bombardment happening. It looks like on the right side. Oh no, the gold miners, the very, very optimistic gold mining operation of our Tatar is being taken out by an eagle and a halb. By the way, where the hell are all these Kameyuks that he built? He's got 2 of them left. Another one bites the dust. Another Onager, rather. Why are you retreating with your hand cannoneers? Those 2 sheep he got for free when he put down a new town center are just standing here wondering what the hell is going on. 4 Trebs. 4 Trebs. Onager goes down, but looks like he did get 1 volley off. Mihai is repairing this. If he loses these Trebs, he knows his entire settlement is at risk. He does destroy one of his opponents. Horses are dying. Hand cannoneers are firing. Halberdiers are being sniped by archer units inside of town centers, and those archer units are basically just villagers with little bows and arrows in their hands. And here comes the Incan spam, and look at it go. This is 13 units, 11 units spam. Remember, all Incan units right now, all of their military units cost 25% less food. Think Kshatriyas, but for free, as the last Tatar Treb falls. Now, the one good thing, if you can call it good, is that your opponent really only does have 2 trebuchets, and he is spamming infantry to your 15 hand cannoneers. The problem is, you are not the Portuguese. You do not have arquebus. Your hand cannoneers don't get ballistics. Villagers are escaping stage right, but the Kameyuks catch them, and that's all she wrote. What a fantastic game. Mihai really showing us that you don't really have to GG immediately after you lose your tower rush, although he probably could have saved himself 20 minutes and GG'd earlier. Now that we know, hindsight is 2020, but what a game. Why did he end with 1,400 stone? I never understand when pro players end with so many resources. I get you're getting pressed into. I understand that the Trebs are taking out your infrastructure. You've got 6 archery ranges. You've got 1,400, 1,300 stone for the purpose of selling it. Do you still have your market? No, you don't, but you've got enough wood for 10 markets, 15, 20 markets, whatever it is. Build a market, okay, which is, okay, he agrees with me, doing exactly that. And sell your freaking stone. If you're not going to put down a castle, if you're not going to get a Keshik, if you're not going to get your own version of fabric shields, which is silk armor, by the way, which we'll see if he did in fact get. I guess I could just look at the scout line unit. +3, +4. No, he did not get silk armor. So another cool similarity between these two civilizations. One has one called fabric shields, which gives these Kameyuks a +1/+2 melee pierce armor. And the other has silk armor that gives their scout line units, step lancers, and cav archers, I believe. But it's only +1/+1 pierce armor. You don't get extra 2 pierce armor. And so unless you're going to research that, sell your stone. You'll have the gold. Keep pumping out hand cannoniers. And then maybe try to reclaim part of the map. This castle definitely is going to help. So Mihai was in a bad situation, but not a terrible situation. And yes, I did mean to say that double time. But what an absolute fantastic game. 46 villager kills by our Inca, which is why Mihai ends the game with fewer villagers, but he's got 10 of his own. And on the whole, 28. What's 16 and 12 is 28 more kills than his opponent. Not hard when your opponent is spamming halberdiers, pikemen, kameyuks, any kind of infantry towards your hand cannoneers, which 14 of them end the game with 51 kills. Now that is how to keep an army alive. That is a fantastic statistic for Mihai. Step lancers, halberdiers, that fight he took here, I'm going to rewind in a second once we go over the stats. I want to see why it went so bad for our Tatar. Maybe it's because he moved his hand cannoneers to the right. 26 onagers, 45. Were there 45 Kameyuks? I mean, there's 21 right now, but it's so hard to see 20. Where the hell are these 21? Okay, they're streaming in. They're on their way here. And Mr. Yo-style relic pinching by our Inca, who looks like he managed to get one of the 3 of his opponent. Now he's taking the second, and then the third is still here being guarded by this man with a very long shaft. Let's take a look at the actual stats. Peak APM towards the end for Mihai. Peak APM in the middle for Modri. I guess he was busy plopping his economy, planning, crushing the center. And the resources? Only 10% difference. A little bit more wood, a little bit more food, 3,000 more gold, which is not really due to relics, but mostly just map control, and 1,200 more stone, which our Tatar takes with him to the grave, basically. Conversions, 4-2. Not really the end of the world. 32 buildings destroyed to 8. Yeah. So at the end of the day, like I said, Mihai showing us that it's not necessarily an immediate GG if your tower push doesn't work. You can buy the stone, you can buy the wood to put down 2 extra town centers, try to catch up. I think he could have, perhaps when that town center and castle were up here, been a little bit more aggressive, pushed out a little bit more. I don't think he really needed to mass an army of elite step lancers, 30 of them. Instead, he maybe could have sent out more and more units, because once your opponent takes the map like this, if you look at the mini map, once you're in this position, then it's basically inevitably a GG. Even if you push out here, it doesn't really matter. Your opponent has taken up so many resources. He's got the stone here as well, and he's now mining his outer gold while your outer gold is completely left alone. 2,400 gold ripe for the taking, which honestly, Modri should have probably been mining this gold, and who's kidding who? Probably mining this gold instead of that one. But ultimately, let's take a look at when that battle happened. Okay, bear with me. Here we go. So right before the battle starts, let's see what we're working with. Let's get rid of the villagers. Let's get rid of the trebs. 42 step lancers fully upgraded against 34 halberdiers fully upgraded. 8 onagers. The onagers, 12 kills so far. So we know he deletes his infrastructure. We know he moves his hand cannoneers to the right. Perhaps this is an attempt to save them from the onagers. That's the only thing I can think of as to why the hell he's sending his hand cannoneers over here, where there is literally no actual infantry for them to kill. So let's see what happens. As I mentioned, 42 step lancers, 34 halberdiers engaging in a choke point. The step lancers should absolutely shred those halberdiers. Unfortunately, let's see how many kills these onagers can get. First couple of volleys out of the onagers, absolute dog shit. But literally seconds in, and he's already got 9 kills from the onagers. How epic is that? Man, Siege, such a game-changing unit in the blink of an eye. And then a couple of seconds into the battle, the Siege has to retreat, so no more onager support. But by then, the halberdiers have overwhelmed the step lancer count. Over here to the right, the hand cannoneers are doing well. They're going to clean this up, but with only a few halberdiers, he's keeping out the entire step lancer, the entire hand cannoneer force. And honestly, in terms of resources, I don't know who came out on top there. A lot of siege went down for our Inca. And the halberdiers, I'm not, at 25% cheaper food count, they're basically free at this point. So I'm not too sure how much resources to count for the halberdiers, but I mean, all of those step lancers are ridiculously expensive, but so is siege. And the siege, as we saw at the end, does ultimately all end up dying here. He does manage to get that last onager. Was it the villager that got the onager? No, it was the step lancer. I think probably our Tatar got the short end of the stick. Maybe if he got these 2 additional trebs, an extra 800 resources down the toilet for our Inca, maybe he would have came out on top resource-wise, but that was, regardless, very intense battle. And I love that Mihai pivoted a few of his step lancers to the left to try to lame the siege, the ability of the siege. Because again, you saw literally, I'm going to snap my fingers, in the blink of an eye, 9 kills. Can you imagine how many more they would have got if they could have just parked their asses up here and kept firing volley after volley? But ultimately doesn't matter. Super fun game. We saw a very cool tower push, which, by the way, succeeded in a way that many tower pushes do not. Mihai did bust into the base. Modri was forced to create a funnel through his town center with a wall off to the right and a few houses and a siege workshop to the left. Okay, he's deleting his own siege workshop. Okay, I get this. He's probably training so many. Yeah, he's training onagers. He does not want the onager to be trained here so that it has to go all the way down here. So he's deleting that siege workshop so that when he selects all siege workshops, it only includes the ones that are very much closer to the battle and not this one that's light years ahead. And ultimately, it's with that siege, it's with the Kamayuk, the Eagle Warrior, the Spearman, the Onager, as I said, the Trebs, and all of it that Modri manages to hold on against a pretty powerful tower push with a lot of archers, by the way. Got his ass up to Castle Age following, like I said, the very simple but very effective strategy of, I'm going to put as much shit in your way so that you can't attack my main town center, so that I can get up to Castle Age and get my mangonels out, or maybe battering rams, depending on the situation. And with that strategy of plopping down as much shit as possible, it is Modri, our Inca, who takes the game as victorious, but GG in a truly fun battle to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.